Here are today's headlines. PHIVOLCS warns that Mayon volcano remains restive even as it emits low sulfur dioxide emissions. Malacanang urges students of state universities to go back to school instead of ditching classes to attend protest rallies. The national government approves the upgrading of a road network to a coffee plantation project in Ilocos Norte. And the Philippine team wins over Indonesia in the Davis Cup. Good day. I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. PHIVOLCS warned that Mayon volcano still threatens to have a hazardous eruption even as sulfur emissions from the volcano have lowered. Here is our report.
State geologists said Mayon volcano's sulfur emission has lessened, but a hazardous eruption by the volcano is still possible. The condition around Mayon remains under alert level 4 and surrounding communities are urged to stay vigilant. PHIVOLCS research specialist Maria Concepcion Baraido said latest data on sulfur dioxide and other parameters continue to indicate unrest. Exposure to sulfur dioxide could also irritate the eyes, skin, and respiratory system. In its bulletin released Saturday, PHIVOLCS reported that Mayon's sulfur dioxide emission level on Friday was at an average of 1,583 tons. PHIVOLCS reported higher average daily emission levels on January 30 and 31 respectively. Baraido said Mayon volcano's sulfur dioxide emission on Friday still exceeded this gas's normal level of approximately 500 tons per day. She said some people had already reported smelling sulfur, with Mayon's continuing unrest. This smell might even intensify if Mayon's sulfur dioxide emission rises again. Baraido added that people around Mayon must heed the local authorities' advice on actions to take to stay safe while the volcano is restive. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondo.
The Philippine General Hospital is offering to conduct medical autopsies on children whose deaths are being linked to dengue as part of its ongoing investigation of the dengue vaccine controversy. Forensic pathologist Dr. Maria Cecilia Lim said the PGH medical experts were offering to do the autopsies for free. Lim was among the 10-man experts panel who studied the 14 cases of children who died after receiving the dengue vaccine. Based on their report of the 14 children, only 3 died of dengue shock syndrome, with 2 cases being attributed to a possible vaccine failure. The rest of the cases could not be attributed to dengue since some of them showed a pre-existing health condition and had developed unrelated illnesses. About those who had comorbidities, the experts also recommended the conduct of a medical autopsy to determine the nature of their illnesses and further find out other possible reasons for their death. President Duterte has ordered the destruction of various imported luxury cars seized by the Bureau of Customs. The president is expected to personally watch the destruction of the vehicles by road roller on Tuesday afternoon. Among those to be crushed were vehicles seized by customs from the Port of Manila in November last year. He said this will be a warning to wealthy car enthusiasts to pay import duties. The activity coincides with the 116th anniversary of the Bureau of Customs. Meanwhile, President Duterte is also expected to grace the celebration of the 45th founding anniversary of the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA. The Department of Tourism encountered micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, to set up businesses related to tourism. DOT Undersecretary Almarita Jimenez noted the impact of global travel and tourism and increased international visitor arrivals encouraged foreign investors to do business in the Philippines. Dr. Ekapol Chong Vilaivan from the Asian Development Bank had dubbed the Philippines as a rising star in Asia due to the rapid growth of its investment-driven economy. During the first Invest Tourism Philippines Forum hosted by DOT in Manila, Chong Vilaivan said tourism should serve as a major economic engine with emphasis on fiscal management, infrastructure development, and unemployment. Representatives from government and private sectors addressed issues confronting the tourism industry and encouraged a multilateral partnership and community involvement to achieve collective growth. A tribal leader in Davao del Norte who earlier met with President Duterte and other leaders of indigenous people were murdered by suspected communist rebels. Here is our report.
A tribal leader of the Langilang Manobo tribe and his son were shot dead by armed men inside their home in Barangay Palmahil, Talaingud, Davao del Norte on Sunday dawn. The victims, Datu Banadjao Mampaundag and his son Jonard Mampaundag, were attacked inside their home by the armed men believed to be members of the New People's Army. AFP Eastern Mindanao Command spokesperson Major Ezra Balagte said the attackers were Tagalog-speaking members of the NPA who entered the house of the Mampaundags and murdered the two tribal leaders. The NPA members were believed to be an ambush position and could possibly attack army troops who would respond to the incident. The incident happened a day after Banadjao came home from the two-day Panagtagpo alang sa Kalinaw ug Kalambuan, an Indigenous Peoples Leaders Summit held in Davao City at the Green Heights Convention Center on January 31 and February 1. Banadjao was one of the participants of the gathering at the Eastern Mindanao Command Headquarters in Panacan, Davao City, where President Rodrigo Duterte called on tribal leaders from 4 regions in Mindanao to dissociate from the NPA. Banadjao was also one of those who signed a manifesto calling for a push on their struggle and fight for self-determination based on their customary laws, cultures, and traditions passed by their ancestors that are deeply rooted in their communities. In the manifesto, they vowed not to fail Duterte in his peace and development program spelled out in the administration's 10-point socio-economic agenda. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Lilian Meliehor.
Still to come, Malacanang urges students of state universities to study instead of ditching classes to attend protest rallies. The national government approves the upgrading of a road network to a coffee plantation project in Ilocos Norte. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ito ang Duterte on Duty. Ulat sa ginagawa ng Presidente.
January 25, Huwebes, New Delhi, India. Nang simula ng ASEAN-India Commemorative Summit ay dumalo si Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Sa plenary session ay nagpasalamat si Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi sa matatag na ugnayan ng India at ASEAN. Dumalo rin ang Pangulo sa presentation ng 11 ASEAN-India Commemorative Stamps. January 26, Biyernes, New Delhi, India. Nakisaya ang Pangulo kasama ang 9 na ASEAN leaders sa selebrasyon ng 69th Republic Day of India na nagpapakita ng makulay na kasaysayan at iba't ibang kultura nila. Nakipagpulong din ang Pangulo sa ilang negosyante sa Philippines-India Business Forum. 2 Memorandum of Understanding at 10 Letters of Intent ang napirmahan. Kaya ito magbigay ng 10,000 trabaho sa Pilipinas.
If you do it right, I will assure you of protection. You are not obliged to even spend 100 pesos for a thing that is legal and you go there upon our invitation. So we invite, we protect.
Pag-uwi sa Pilipinas ay ibinalita ni Pangulong Duterte ang dagdag ginhawang bunga ng kanyang paikipagpulong.
I am pleased to report that the Philippine and Indian business delegations forged a total of $1.25 billion worth of investments which will create approximately 10,000 jobs.
January 29, Lunes, Legazpi City, Albay. Nagkaloob ng 20 milyong pisong paunang tulong ang Pangulo sa mga pamilyang apektado sa pagputok ng Bulkang Mayon. Davao City, pinarangalan ng Chief Executive ang mga sugatang sundalo na nakakaengkwentro ng New People's Army sa ilang bahagi ng Mindanao. January 30, Martes, Lanao del Sur. Pinangunahan ni Pangulong Duterte ang groundbreaking ceremony ng itatayong bagong military camp sa Marawi City. Tiniyak din niya na maayos sa mga bagong tayong tirahan sa Bahay Pag-asa Phase 2 Community Center at namahagi ang Pangulo ng 250 Certificate of Acceptance and Occupancy of Temporary Shelter Units sa mga biktima ng gyera sa Marawi, kasabay ng pangakong ibabangon talaga natin ang Marawi.
We try to build a new city. I will guarantee you the remaining years that there will always be money for you.
Ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
Malacanang urged students from the University of the Philippines to reconsider focusing on their studies instead of skipping school to join protests. The palace also denied accusations of abuses on Lumads. Here is our report.
Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque Jr. clarified President Rodrigo Duterte's remarks to kick out protesting students of the University of the Philippines and replace them with bright Lumad students. Roque said it didn't mean the president wanted to curtail their freedom of expression, only that they must mind their studies as their education is supported by the government. As a former professor in UP, Roque recalled that in UP there was this so-called maximum absence rule that if a student breached the maximum 20% allowance, the student would be automatically dropped from the rolls. Speaking of the Lumads, Roque said that the statements made by the United Nations Special Rapporteur on the rights of indigenous peoples, saying the government violated the rights of the Lumads, was baseless. Roque stressed that the New People's Army have been taking advantage of Lumads and pitting them against the government. He said the president understood very well the plight of those cultural minorities in Mindanao, particularly hunger and poverty. He said increasing investments and jobs in the regions will not only benefit Lumads, but will also lessen the influence of the NPA. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Philippine Cervantes.
The National Bureau of Investigation filed charges against 3 SAC Department of Justice employees found to have forged signatures of officials in bogus documents used to facilitate the visas for Chinese nationals in exchange for a large sum of money. According to Undersecretary Eric Sanbalmes, the 3 DOJ employees were charged with falsification. The 3 confessed to their involvement in the purported processing of the quota visas of 6 Chinese nationals for a handsome fee. Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre III said the accused presented a spurious letter with a forged signature of Balmes and a fake immigration stamp as proof that the respected applications have been filed. On the other hand, the 3 said no applications for the quota visas were filed or processed. Balmes sought immediate action from Aguirre, including the firing of the 3 personnel and placing them in the Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order. Aguirre warned that the DOJ will not tolerate any form of corruption in its ranks in accordance to President Duterte's campaign against corruption. The Department of Tourism and the Department of Public Works and Highways approved the upgrading of a road to a coffee plantation project in Ilocos Norte. The road project also leads to certain tourist attractions in the province. Here is our report.
A budget of 154 million pesos has been approved by the national government for the concreting of roads leading to the largest coffee plantation in Sitio Lamin at the boundary of Pidig and Carasi towns in Ilocos Norte. Pidig Municipal Consultant Eduardo Guillen expressed his thanks to the Department of Public Works and Highways and the Department of Tourism for jointly approving the budget. For 2018, a total of more than 3.1 billion pesos was allocated for Ilocos Norte Province, specifically for the continuing implementation of the DOT-DPWH Road Convergence Program in the next 5 years. This covers 29 road construction projects leading to the potential tourist spots in the different parts of the province. In PDIG, the local government unit has initiated the development of about 1,200 hectares of upland and lowland coffee plantations with high-grade Arabica, Excelsa, and Liberica coffee varieties. While it is being developed, the Lamin Ecotourism project got a boost from the DOT and DPWH via the construction of a road leading to the site. Other road projects in PDIG include a road leading to the World War II airship in barangays Boyboy and Santa Maria, road concreting in Maruaya, Dupita, Calambeg, Estancia villages, and another road concreting of the Tonoton, Mangitayag, Bimanga, Loing Road leading to the house and practice area of the first Filipino Olympic medalist, Chofilo Ildefonso. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Crismundo.
An airplane crashed off the coast of Sitio Landing, Barangay New Agutaya in the San Vicente, Palawan on Sunday afternoon. The light aircraft, which was chartered to transport live fish cargoes to Sangli Point, Cavite, had just taken off from the nearby San Vicente Airport when the accident happened. The two pilots of the aircraft, who were reported to be of Indian nationals, were rescued from the Long Beach shoreline. Lieutenant Colonel Bill Pasha, commanding officer of the Marines Battalion Landing Team 12, said the victims were immediately brought to the Rural Health Unit of San Vicente. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Task Force Bangon Marawi facilitated the return of residents of 3 barangays in Marawi City. One barangay was, however, barred from returning midway due to security concerns. Here is our report.
The 5th Kambalingan continues as barangays Pangaw Sadok, Lilud Dadok, and Rayas Sadok return to their communities in Marawi City. Residents of the mentioned barangays are now allowed to be back in their homes after 9 months of staying in evacuation centers and other places of refuge. However, some problems occurred during the homecoming, particularly in Barangay Lilud Sadok. The Armed Forces of the Philippines declares no entry points onto roads within the selected vicinity of the said barangay. Unfortunately, some individuals are not yet allowed to come home. With this, Deputy Commander Colonel Romeo Browner explains the reason behind not permitting residents to return home. There are still unrecovered bombs nearby the area that may explode anytime. To date, the AFP regarded the safety and security of the residents are paramount to prevent possible accidents. In an interview, Dr. Gonaran Mapandi Jr., a resident of Lilud Sadok and the owner of Mapandi Memorial Hospital, appealed to the task force.
We are thankful yung mga residents na nakabalik na. But I hope the Bangon Marawi will again move this barricade near the new bridge, para naman makabalik yung mga ibang residents na kasi masakit din sa kanila yung kapitbahay mo nakapasok tapos ikaw nakikita mo lang yung bahay mo, hindi mo mapapasukan. So we ask the Bangon Marawi sana ASAP makabalik din yung mga ibang residents na kanila. Kawawa naman po sila.
Mapandi is conducting their hospital assessment to ensure that it can resume its services and to be fully operational and functional for the people.
Slowly, we will try to see the hospital and the school ASAP, as soon as possible. We have to open, to let it operate, to make it normal, functional again.
For PNA Newsroom, Lade Kabagani, Philippine Information Agency.
Up next, the Philippine team wins over Indonesia in the Davis Cup. A Filipina philanthropist from New York is crowned Miss Republic of the Philippines International. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
Ito ang gusto ko, total pera naman ng tao, to observe editorial independence through innovative programs and intelligence treatment, analysis of reports, as well as the development of national and international significance.
From February 19 to 21, 2018, the Presidential Communications Operations Office will launch the National Information Convention to strengthen partnership between the private and public sector, encourage communicators to influence for the common good, and to organize a movement to motivate society towards nation building. With over 1,500 communication practitioners participating in 3 days of intense communication courses. The National Information Convention, spurring national development and empowering communities through information. February 19 to 21, 2018 at the SMX Convention Center, SM Lanang, Davao City.
Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III confirmed the resignation of Securities and Exchange Commission Commissioner Blas James Viterbo for health reasons. Viterbo's resignation was reportedly due to heart condition-related irregular heartbeat. SEC Secretary Armand Pan reported that Viterbo tendered his resignation to President Rodrigo Duterte through Dominguez last February 1. Effectivity of the commissioner's resignation depends upon the acceptance of the president, he said. Viterbo was appointed to the SEC's policy-making body for a 7-year term on May 20, 2014. He was a member of the Development Bank of the Philippines Board of Directors and the bank's representative to the Maritime Industry Authority Board. Amateur boxers converged in Negros Occidental for the PSC Pacquiao Amateur Boxing Cup, with Baguio City and Sipalay dominating the first day of the tournament. Here is our report.
The young fighters of Baguio City, Negros Occidental, did not disappoint their hometown crowd as they scored 3 victories at the opening of the PSC Pacquiao Amateur Boxing Cup on Saturday at the Manuel Y. Torres Memorial Sports Center. Flashy Rodel Gamo landed more telling blows to win by a convincing unanimous decision against Omega Mandawi's Alex Andre Bonita in the junior boys pinweight category. 15-year-old Joshua Belesina, a 2016 Palarong Pambansa silver medalist, also connected more combinations en route to a unanimous decision over Morsia's Julio Saldivia in the junior boys flyweight division. The other win, however, was courtesy of junior boys pinweight Kim Catedrilla of Bagos Sampit Boxing Club, who stopped Sipalay City's Ray Penafiel by a referee-stopped contest in 1 minute and 59 seconds of round 1. Sipalay, however, salvaged the last 2 bouts of day 1 courtesy of Nixon Anito and Jay Torella Jr., who both escaped via split decisions. More than 100 boxers, or a total of 17 teams, are seeing action in the 2-day Visayas preliminaries of the PSC Pacquiao Amateur Boxing Cup. It is sponsored by the PSC in cooperation with the Office of Senator Manny Pacquiao. Baguio City Mayor Nicolas Yu welcomed all the teams and guests and thanked the Philippine Sports Commission for bringing the grassroots development program to their city, tagged as the boxing capital of the Philippines, for producing Olympian boxers in the country. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
The Davis Cup Philippine team defeated Indonesia's players 4-1 as they faced off at the Philippine-Colombian Association. Ruben Gonzalez cut down Indonesian David Agung Susanto with a win of 6-2, 6-3, 6-4 for his 10th Davis Cup victory. He scored his 2nd win this weekend after beating Aditya Harsi Sasongko. Albert Lim Jr., who earlier lost to Susanto, beat Anthony Susanto 7-5 and 6-3 to complete the win for the Philippines. Team manager Jean-Henry Lullier praised the Philippine team for their efforts as they aspire to go back to Group 1 in the Davis Cup. The Philippine team is going to the semi-finals against the winner between Thailand and Kuwait. Meanwhile, doubles players Treat Yui and Francis Casey Alcantara were victorious over Indonesia's team for a 2-1 lead. A Pinay barista from New York who supports numerous advocacies as a philanthropist was crowned Miss Republic of the Philippines International. Here is our report.
Filipina beauty titleist and philanthropist Excelsa de Jesus bagged the Miss Republic of the Philippines International crown on a coronation night at Sofitel Hotel Manila. De Jesus won the Miss Philippines America in 2016 in the United States, where she was also bestowed the title Ambassador of Tourism to the Philippines. De Jesus, a barista in New York, represented the Big Apple in the just concluded Mr. and Miss Republic of the Philippines pageant in Manila. De Jesus often used her spare time to support charities and assist in their programs. She earlier went on a mission trip to give hygiene kits to children in Cebu, Palawan, Estancia, Iloilo, and Bohol. She bested other contestants coming from the US, Canada, Melbourne, and Perth, Australia. Cindy Mariah Dumol, meanwhile, bagged the Miss RP title and was crowned by her predecessor, Fermira Dayan Ramos, who won the crown in 2015. Miss Davao City Tamara Alexandria Pacursa won Miss RP Luzon, while Miss Caloocan City Patricia May Baratilla bagged Miss RP Visayas, and Miss Laguna Charis Jedediah Husay won Miss RP Mindanao. Bulacan candidate Dennis Frias Malones bagged the Mr. RP title. Mr. RP Luzon was won by Giancarlo Morales from Bataan. Mr. RP Visayas was bagged by Lipa City Representative J. Lester Abrenica, and Mr. RP Mindanao was won by Taguig City candidate Jedrick Costes. The Miss Republic of the Philippines was first staged in 1969, with the past winners serving as the representatives of the country at the Miss World pageant. The representation, however, lasted until 1976 when the Miss World franchise was transferred to Mutyanang, Pilipinas. It also had a hiatus in 1978 and was only revived in 2015 with the aim to promote local tourism. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Giselle Danganan.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country.
The military remains steadfast in its mandate of protecting the country against all forms of threat. This despite warnings coming from Communist Party of the Philippines or CPP founder Jose Maria Joma Sison that the New People's Army can kill at least one soldier a day to force the government to revive the peace talks. Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP spokesperson Colonel Edward Arevalo said the CPP founder's claim only shows the true colors of the communist movement. Arevalo added that the risk of getting wounded or losing their lives in the line of duty is part and parcel of being a member of the AFP. Even so, he stressed that such threats will not diminish the AFP's resolve in preserving the peace and aiding development in the countryside. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Let's take another look at today's headlines. PVOX warns that Mayon volcano remains restive even as it emits low sulfur dioxide emissions. Malacanang urges students of state universities to go back to school instead of ditching classes to attend protest rallies. The national government approves the upgrading of a road network to a coffee plantation project in Ilocos Norte. And the Philippine team wins over Indonesia in the Davis Cup. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and all that it is doing for the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm William Theo. Good day.